Most people's dream is to end up on the lake. Maybe you start with your starter home and then you're looking to buy that lakefront property where you can enjoy it with the family, the kids, and it's also a status symbol. You say, I live on the lake, I live on this lake, that lake. Well, in Sudbury, we're lucky. We have 330 lakes in our borders. But if you're looking to move on the lake in Sudbury, there's 4 main lakes that I'll discuss today that are the most popular lakes to live on for a couple of reasons. So I'll start with the number 1. And anyone that lives in Sudbury knows this one. It's the, I wouldn't say the main one, but it's the one that's in the middle of their city. Basically, our city's built around this lake, and it's Ramsey Lake. So there's 851 permanent residents according to the city website, and just over 200 recreational homes on the lake so far. This lake also has some public beaches, Bell Park. There's a few more that are along the boardwalk, which goes from Science North to the Water Recreation Center at the end of the boardwalk. That's a really fun place to go. A lot of families, people with dogs going for a run in the summer. And in the winter, they actually plow a skating path, which is a lot of fun. I do that every year with the family and my girlfriend. And they have these little shacks where you can put on your skates, and it's about, I'd say, half a kilometer probably there, and then half a kilometer back, and you can do it a couple times. So it's a pretty cool place to be. That's Science North is also on the lake. And then on this lake is probably where the biggest homes in Sudbury are. This along with Long Lake. So if you live on Ramsey Lake, it's a status symbol. People know, hey, this is a successful person, probably lives on Ramsey Lake. There's a lot of them huge homes. The prices vary. Right now, if you're looking for like a camp on the lake, you're still looking close to $1 million. So 800, 900, unless you get super lucky or a weird steep hill down to the lake. And then you can go as high, we've seen some for 4.5 million. But you're looking for a house, you can get a house on the lake that's dated, maybe like not a huge house for 1.5 million, and then about 2 million, maybe they're a little bit bigger homes. But there's a lot of opportunity, and because there actually is quite a bit of residents. So there's 2 sides, the north side and the south side, access from different parts of the city. But again, like I said, you drive around. So there's also some good fishing. So they have walleye, rock bass, and people in the winter go set up their ice fishing huts. So there's a bunch of them along the lake. People bring their snow machines out at the boat launch, the main boat launch. And then in the summer, people also put their boats in all the time. People go sea-dooing, bring your boat out, go fishing. So a lot of people do that. So the circumference is about 34 kilometers. The maximum depth though is not that deep. It's only 20.5 meters deep at the deepest spot, which is kind of interesting because some of the other ones we're going to touch on are a lot deeper. The second lake that is super popular in Sudbury that I need to touch on is Long Lake. Hence the name, it goes a long way. So you could live at the start of Long Lake, and it's about probably, considering it's like back roads, it's probably, you could drive about 30 minutes until you get to the furthest houses on the lake. Living on Long Lake is also a status symbol. It's deep in our south end, which is the most expensive area of Sudbury. So it's a little bit further out. You're maybe driving to the start of Long Lake about from downtown 10 minutes. You can get to the start of Long Lake, and as I said, a little bit further. Again, some of the biggest homes are on Long Lake. It's a status symbol. It's really great for boating and fishing as well. There's 866 permanent residents on Long Lake according to the city website, and just over 200 recreational properties as well. Some of those are being torn down to build some big homes. The prices are, on average, a tiny bit cheaper than Ramsey Lake, but not much. It obviously depends on the house a lot. So you can get, the last house that sold that needed a ton of work was about 800,000. But it was a smaller house, steeper to the water, and still a decent opportunity, right, if you want to live on the lake, but it needed major renos. So Long Lake is 14.5 kilometers long. Like I said, it takes about half an hour because there's some side roads, bumpy roads, gravel roads, they go to the back. It still gets plowed, most of it all the way to the end by the city, but not all the way in certain areas. Some of the further houses are actually camps out on Long Lake. But if you drive down, there's both sides of the lake that you can go see. There's Sunnyside, and then there's the Long Lake Road that you can follow. So those both lead to both sides of this lake. The maximum depth is 36.5, so it's actually deeper in the deepest part than Ramsey Lake, which is surprising because it's a little bit more of a narrow lake. But that's why the fishing is actually pretty good. A lot of people do some fishing out there. But a lot of the people on the lake love to do the sea-dooing, the boating, the lake wakeboarding and ice fishing in winter. So Long Lake is one of the most desirable lakes to be on, whether it's a camp or a home. And then that brings us to lake number 3, which is Neptune Lake. Personally, it's kind of one of my favorites because it's a little bit smaller. There's actually no public boat launch here, so not just anyone can bring their boats on. If you live on the lake, you can, but if you don't, you can't just go cruising around this lake because it's a little bit smaller. It's pretty cool. It's like a horseshoe. In the middle of the horseshoe, there's a peninsula kind of thing, and it's Mackey Road, which is one of our most popular roads in Sudbury. It has some huge homes, but it's kind of unique because a lot of those homes don't have a beachfront. It's quite steep to get to the lake because it's built on basically on a rock like this, and then there's a wraparound here, and there's homes in the middle. So these ones aren't on the lake, but all the outside homes are. Some really expensive homes on this lake just because there's limited access. There was one lot left and it just sold, and again it was steep, about $300,000 for the lot. I love this lake. I have a few friends that live on it as well. There's a few of them that were cheaper homes that you could have bought. They were just awkward and small and sold around $700,000, $750,000. But again, if you're looking for a nice bigger home, you're looking upwards of $1.5 million on this lake. It also has several condominiums that overlook the lake or have access to the lake. We just sold one. We set a record price for this condominium. So it's about for a 2-bedroom with the best view obviously in the building, but sold for almost $600,000, which is pretty crazy. Around this lake is also the Llewellyn neighborhood, which is one of our most expensive resale neighborhoods with 2 of the highest rated schools in Sudbury, which is Llewellyn High School and RLVD Elementary School, which was at a time top 10 in Canada for the highest rated school. So that's it for Neptune Lake. And lake number 4. This one's a little bit further out, but it's a huge lake and it has a lot of cottages and full-time homes, a little bit more of a drive, extra deep, which means good fishing. And this is Lake Wapki. So Wapki Lake obviously flows to Wapki River, which I canoe a lot. As I was saying, I love the outdoors. But Wapki Lake is a huge lake. It's out, there's obviously a couple sides to it. So one side is the skied side. That's about, I would say from Sudbury, depending on how deep you go, 45-minute drive. Then there's the other side. Then there's a lot of cottages, but also it's in a lot of full-time homes as well. So there's only 370 permanent homes on this lake and almost 200 seasonal homes on this lake. That's according to the city website. It seems like there's a lot more though. It does have a lot more green space because it's a very, very large lake. This one's 160 in diameter, kilometers, which is very, very big. And then the maximum depth is 142 meters, which is super deep. When you compare it to the other big lake, Ramsey Lake in Sudbury, that's maximum 20.5. This one's 142 deep. There's amazing fishing on Wapki Lake. A lot of people bring their boats on there to go fishing during the day or the weekend, whenever they want. The only thing with this lake is it's a little bit colder because it's so big, so deep. You get a little bit more winds because of how big it is, but still a beautiful area. We sold a couple cottages out there, a couple camps. Beautiful area to live in. Legend has it this lake was a crater. So way back when, an asteroid hit, and well, that's what they say Sudbury is, a crater that an asteroid hit. But apparently this is as well, this lake, an asteroid hit, created this really big and deep lake that we now call Wapki Lake, which is quite interesting. And then in terms of prices on this lake, they're a little bit cheaper because you have to drive out a little bit, and it depends what side you're on. So on the one side, on the east, the ski side, it's paved roads most of the way, so you get a little bit more, you pay a little bit more, there's more neighborhoods there. Lots for sale, so you pay a little bit more on that side. On the opposite side, the west side, still gets plowed. There's more gravel roads, more windy, takes a little bit longer, can't drive as fast, a couple more cottages, but still some full-time homes. So it is a little bit cheaper on that side, but we're still looking at lakefront prices. So recently, decent home, 2 bedrooms up, 1 down, with a garage, not much parking, and a decent lakefront. It's not sandy, but it wasn't super steep, and that sold for around the $900,000 mark. And that was a fully finished house, just not super up to date, not extravagant, and not huge at all. Probably 1,100 square feet with a boathouse as well. So if you're looking for the huge extravagant home, those are still $1.2 million plus. You can go up to as high as 2 and more if it's like a huge, beautiful home. So those are the top 4 lakes in Sudbury that you want to live on if you're looking to shop in Sudbury. If you need help looking for a home, a place on the lake, or you're looking to sell your place on the lake, feel free to reach out to our team here at the RitchieNatale Group. We would love to help you out, or if you have any type of questions about Sudbury and the surrounding areas. Talk to you guys later.